the ninth wonder of the world. Next to Andre the Giant, Big John Studd was the biggest and baddest the WWF threw in the ring in the 1980s. Placing second to the eighth wonder of the world isn't a bad consolation prize. Often paired against each other thanks to their large frames, Studd more than held his own against Andre in a battle best referred to as Goliath versus Goliath. Or perhaps the best example of Gorilla Monsoon's famous line in which the irresistible force meets the immovable object. Big John Minton broke onto the wrestling scene wearing a mask as one half of the Masked Executioners with his trainer Killer Kowalski. After winning the WWF Tag Team titles with his mentor and partner in the mid-1970s, he took to the road and competed in various territories under such guises as Captain USA and the Masked Superstar #2. Unlike Rey Mysterio Jr. in WCW, however, the mask came off for Studd, and it stayed off. By 1982, the Grizzly Man was back with the WWF following a run in the NWA and stayed at or close to the main event status for years to come. With classy Freddie Blassie at ringside, Studd made an impact almost immediately, sending opponents home on stretchers and sporting arguably the best long tights of all time. I love those stars on the side, Big John. One of Studd's finest hours was a body slam challenge. Big body slam! Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds. You see the segue there? The professionalism on this channel? Welcome back to Chaos Corner on Guardian the Chaos, the YouTube channel. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans, here for another special episodic YouTube adventure of story time. Studd made an impact almost immediately, as I said, sending opponents home on stretchers. One of Studd's biggest challenges, as I said, was the Body Slam Challenge, in which he offered a 5-figure sum to any wrestler who could slam him to the mat. When Andre the Giant accepted the challenge and nearly slammed him, as classy Freddie Blassie interceded, a popular feud was born and remained for years. What a time. Two humongous athletes, larger than life. Big men of pro wrestling. The most fuel added to the feud, say that 3 times fast, fuel to the feud, fuel to the feud, fuel to the feud. I think I just did it. Came when Studd aligned himself with Bobby the Brain Heenan. Who could forget when Studd, along with the Heenan family members, Ken Patera, cut Andre's hair after a match? Talk about history. The answer is no one. Even LJN created a new rubbery Andre figure, sans the Roseanne Barr hair. They gave in their first incarnation after the haircut into a doll. The Studd and Andre feud became the stuff of legend at WrestleMania 1, when Andre slammed him during the $15,000 Body Slam Challenge. The image of one big man slamming another is etched into wrestling minds forever. I know it is for me. And sometimes I have the brain of a dehydrated baby. Following the epic slam, Studd partnered with fellow big man King Kong Bundy to wage war against Andre. Rest in peace, Chris, but don't think I ever forgot about you giving me that receipt, Bundy. Out in Bullhead City, Arizona, on the Colorado River, Laughlin, Nevada, and then again in Las Vegas, and then here in the tri-state area. I love you, Bundy, but I'll never forget. We had quite the running feud. And I won't forget the night that we also teamed together and kicked Sergeant Slaughter's ass. That's right, Mr. USA, G.I. Joe. We kicked your ass too in New York, if you remember that. And if you don't, Slaughter, when I see you, I'll remind you. And you put me in the Cobra Clutch right here at the North Haven Fair. I think I was with Ron Zombie that night. Zombie, the independent pro wrestling legend from this area. Trained by Killer Kowalski. Managed by Jim Cornette. And Tony Rumble, the Boston bad boy. The New York Posse. Dreaded Dead, Dead Dread, whatever you want to call it. I love you, Zombie. So again, that's why you hear of the connections that I have in the business and what I've actually accomplished inside the fucking ring for over 3 decades as a pro wrestling manager that took the fucking bumps. You never know what I'm going to do or what I'm going to say or how I'm going to present the content. Just know that I'm here watching with you. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. As I said, Stud and Bundy, what a tag team. And to wage war against Andre the Giant. That said, he did set his sights on William the Refrigerator Perry by the time WrestleMania 2 came around. After he and the Chicago Bear eliminated each other during that event's 20-man battle royal. Stud spent the better part of the year with Bundy. And they were contending for the tag team belts, the biggest tag team perhaps of all pro wrestling history. And still hell-bent on being known as the true giant of the WWF. The bearded and bald tandem also waged war against the masked team known as the Machines. One half of that pair was obviously Andre the Giant. Having found a loophole at the time after being suspended for not showing up for a match against Big John. Now, does anyone ever know, or do you know, who was the other half of the Machines during this era? Obviously, Andre the Giant. The other Machine was Bueller. I know I say it all the time. This never gets old. At least for me. Bueller. The other Machine was a.k.a. the Masked Superstar, a.k.a. Axe of Demolition, a.k.a. Bill Eadie. That's why you come here. Because you'll be better off when you walk out of here than when you came in here. So you can hold an actual conversation and sound like you know what you're talking about at the next venue, holiday gathering, birthday party, water cooler, work, pub, tavern, game, restaurant. So you know what the fuck you're talking about. And I apologize for the F-bombs. We're not really. How about that for useless facts of tidbits of information here in the insignificant cog of the wheel we call pro wrestling? One half of the Machines, Andre the Giant and Bill Eadie. Demolition. Masked Superstar. I just said it. Having found a loophole, like I said, as Andre was suspended, Stud retired in 1986, but briefly came back 3 years later as a face and reached a career highlight by winning the Royal Rumble. Naturally, he took on Andre once again during his final run. The two men were so inseparable in the 1980s, they even co-starred in a bad Dudley Moore movie together called Mickey and Maude. You know what movie that was really good for the day and its time? And Big John Studd was a big part of that movie. Go out and check out the Don Johnson, Mickey Rourke film, Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. That's right. What a good movie. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man with Big John Studd. Heard a lot of good things about Studd. Never met him personally. Stud died of liver cancer and Hodgkin's disease on March 20th, 1994. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame 10 years later and remembered as a giant, a legend in this business. Big John Studd, one of the best big men to ever do it. Fans, I present these stories to you in these short clips in Chaos Corner of the show so you can go back and do your research and due diligence, and maybe I can direct you to something that you don't know. A lot of other podcasts don't do this, and that's why this is a show, not a podcast. Everything that I present on here, from classic matches to documentaries to my own material to clips to story time, is all for you to not only get to know the game better, the business, the industry, the sport that we love, but to also let you know who the fuck I am. And from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And I mean that. That's a shoot. And I'm not going to end it with the traditional saying. You guys know what it is. Type it in the chat. I'm glad I can bring you these short stories here on Storytime. We have plenty of more material to come back for. Chaos Corner on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel.